Hello, lovely learners. Welcome back to ALifeLearned. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the therapy work I've been doing and a particular concept I've been struggling with, frankly, for years. But that parts work has kind of finally made me feel like I could approach and start working on. As you can see from the title of the video, I want to talk about reparenting specifically. It's just one of those things that I've struggled with quite a bit because for whatever reason I seem to have this part in me that is angry about the concept of having to reparent. It is just straight up fed up at how much struggle I've had in life, and the whole attitude around it seems to be like, no, screw you, I'm not going to do the work, I'm not going to parent myself, you do the work, you being my parents. And so this has been a resurfacing issue. It resurfaces frequently, and I cycle back around with it because I really struggle to accept that I have to do the work myself. And so more recently, I've been through these back and forth kind of loops with my parents where I keep going to them with information, educational information about attachment theory, information about attachment wounds, information about infant wounds, and how a child develops ideas, trying to explain to them that it was really natural when I was young to blame myself for you sucking and for you failing, but it wasn't my fault, and it will never be the child's fault that they feel unloved or that they feel unsupported or that anything negative of that nature. It is always on the parent to help them develop their emotions, to help them understand where they sit in the world, to help them feel worthy and worthwhile. And so even though through the years, through both group therapies, private therapies, and my own study, I've seen a lot of information that said to me hey, you need to do this reparenting work, this is a big part of your healing, I've just always been up against this part in me that is just nope, I freaking refuse. Because it's I'm angry at the idea that I have to do this work, that I've been so screwed over that I have to do my own parenting. And for those who aren't familiar with what reparenting is, it's basically the concept of, at least specifically in parts work therapy, you go back to your child parts as the adult self, as the developed, mature adult, and you say, hey, I hear you, I see your pain, I see that you weren't parented and that you weren't helped and you weren't supported. That matters. I'm here. I love you. I'll parent you. I'll be there for you. I'll support you. And that concept can still be kind of pretty lonely in ways, and so I think that's one reason I resisted it, and another one was just straight up not wanting to accept that my parents weren't capable of it. And so in the last bit in particular, I don't know, couple months, I've been going back and forth with my parents at different times, trying to share information with them, trying to reason with them, get them to understand where I've come from, what I've learned, and to understand where they failed. But unfortunately, because they still have so much of their own trauma that is unhealed, and they're just not in places to ever really get to healing. I mean, maybe that'd be great for them, but they've just got so many different layers of trauma and distorted beliefs and just things that are working against them internally in their psyche, that they have a lot of dismantling to do before they could ever really get to the point of accepting that, in senses it wasn't their fault because they were screwed over, they had bad parents, but at the same time they do have to take accountability that because of all of that they did a bad job parenting. And the best thing in any situation is to accept when you screwed up, learn from it, improve, and move on, not to constantly live in denial. Or, constantly tell the person, well, I'm over it, why aren't you over it? Why can't you just move on? It's maybe because I want to frickin' heal from it first. That's not moving on, that's called shoving it down and hoping it doesn't come back. Trust me, it always comes back. So, it always comes back. So, yeah, I'm in this place where I'm now finally feeling ready to do that reparenting work, and it's taken a lot that I've been up against so much resistance, but I really think that parts work has really helped in getting me here, because I've been able to acknowledge that part of myself that didn't want to do the work, that felt angry that I had to do the work, that felt just so much dissonance and injustice in having to do the parenting for myself. And so if it's like parts work allows you to accept these different conflicting emotions and needs, and so by accepting them and acknowledging them, you can then work past them. So I still have all these feelings. I still don't want to do the work. I still don't want to reparent myself. But I can now feel I'm in this place where I can be like, okay, I get that that's where I'm at in my healing, that I'm kind of up against a wall of, if I don't do this, I'm going to be stunting a lot of other progress I could be making, and I feel ready to do the work because I've finally given that part of myself space to be accepted and acknowledged. It's not fair. I shouldn't have to do this work. But that's not where we're at anymore. It's not about shoulds. It's not about what did happen anymore so much as where we are and what does need to happen, and what I can do as an individual to help myself forward. So I just wanted to make this video to relate to anyone who's been through this struggle, who has found themselves in the need of reparenting because of whatever infant traumas, attachment traumas, connection traumas, parents just screwing up one way or another. I feel you. I'm there right now. I'm having to accept that my parents can't ever really be parents, that they are just people in my life that I know and I relate to, in the sense of they birthed me. We're not even very similar, so it's one of the things that some people find effective in this situation or in this work is radical acceptance. I was really struggling with that because I felt like it was giving them things they didn't deserve, to radically accept them as incompetent. Interestingly, I'm just like, most people would think that's bad. I'm like, yeah, but it still feels like it's giving them too much. But now I've just gotten into this point, at least, where I've come to accept, whether it's radical or not, that the only person who's going to be able to do this work at this point in my life is me. And that in all my attempts, they don't get it, they aren't there, they can't do the work. And even though this part in me desperately just wants them to step up and be my parents, the grown-up me has been able to be like, yep, you do want that. We all want that. That would be great. And it's not going to happen. So why don't we give it to ourselves instead? Yeah, so please, as always, if you are going through parts work therapy, or if you've had to do any form of reparenting in your work, or if you're working on that right now, or it's something that you're kind of realizing, oh shit, maybe I should look into that and consider that, 100%, please comment below. I really appreciate when everyone shares their stories, or even just a little bit about what they're going through in the comments, because it really does help other people coming across the video to feel less alone, and to feel like, you know, even if I don't know you directly, even if we don't ever talk, you can know that it's within human capacity to get further, to heal further. And through, you know, seeing these little bits of my healing journey, hopefully that can help you feel like you're not alone in your healing journey, that there are other people walking alongside you, even if we are separated by the internet or, you know, distance. You're not alone in your healing. You're not alone in this journey. There are so many of us out there who have just been completely mistreated and screwed over by our parents and by life. But that doesn't mean that we can't be there for each other and for ourselves, right? So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, even if you don't want to share your comments below, please just join me again next week or sometime soon, where I try again to share a little something I've learned or experienced in life.